Welcome everyone, my name is Elvis. In this tutorial, we are going to be creating this testimony page using HTML and CSS, and we are going to achieve this design layout using the CSS Grid system. And also, we are going to make this web page responsive, so you can have different screen sizes with different layouts. To download the complete project, I'll be posting the link to this GitHub repository. So once here, you can click on code and download the zip file, or if you have a Git, the Git installed in your system, you can clone the repository. So here on my desktop, I have this testimony page project folder, which I've opened up in Visual Studio Code. And inside this project, I have this readme.md file, which contains the style guide for this project. And I have this asset folder, which contains the images used in this project. And you can also get the assets to this project from the front-end Mentor Challenge website. Also in my VS Code, I have this extension called the live server installed in my VS Code. So what this does is that it creates a local server, and whenever I save my project, it will automatically refresh the page for me. So it makes testing easier. So let's start by creating the mockup for the web page. So let's add our HTML file, and I'm going to call this index.html. And I'm going to bring up the HTML boilerplate, and I'll change the title from document to basic grid system. Or let's just use testimony page. And that's all for now for this section. So inside the body tag, let's add a div class with a class attribute of page container. So this page container class, I'm going to use it to limit the width of the web page, so that if we are on a wider screen, we won't stretch the whole contents to touch both ends of the screen. And also, I want to add a grid class. This now naming is up to you. So I'm just giving this a class of grid because I know I'll be using a grid class, but you can use any name here. Now inside this div class, with a class of page container, I want to add either a div or a section to wrap one of these cards. And if you notice, they are all similar in the sense that they have this image, the name, verified graduate, a header, and a paragraph. So inside our VS Code, let's go with a section with a class name of grid chart. Now, if your autocomplete doesn't work like mine, you should try installing the Emit Live from the VS Code extension store, or you can just type it manually, section and class name of grid chart. So inside this section, let's add this div, and this div will wrap this image and this text here. So inside the div, let's add the image tag, and this one points to assets, image Daniel, and alt text of Daniel. Now let's add another div to wrap both texts, and I want to add the h3 tag of Daniel Clifford and p tag of verified graduates. Now outside this div, let's add our h2 tag, and the content here will be this one, or this, and a p tag for this section here. So let's copy and paste. So now to preview our page, if you have the live server installed in VS Code, you can click on this Go Live button here, and this should open up your project in a web browser. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So let's create these other sections. So since they all look the same and they all share the same layout, so what we can do is we can duplicate this section with the class name of grid child. Sorry, let me space out grid child, and let's rename the content. So let's change the content inside this grid child. So for this one points to, I think, Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan, and us of Jonathan. So for the H3 here, Jonathan, verified graduates. Then for the head text, copy, paste. So I'm going to run through everything here since they all share the same layer. So all you have to do is duplicate and you change the content. You duplicate and you change the content. So now our mockup is ready. So let's preview and let's see what we have so far. So I think everything is ready. So let's head on to styling this page. So inside our testimony page project, let's create our style.css file. And again, you can name it whatever you want, global.css or anything. So I'm calling mine style.css, and in my index.html, let's head to the head section, and anywhere within the head section, let's link our CSS file. Style.css. That's it for this one. So let's head over to our style.css, and the first thing I want to do is to import this font here, this Bedlow semi-condensed font, which is from Google Fonts. So let's head over to fonts.google.com. Okay, so in this search font section, so let's search for Bedlow condensed. So here is it. So let's select the font, and the font weight we need is the font weight 500 and 600. Let's scroll down to, sorry, my page is taking too much time to load. Let's scroll down to this section here, and let's pick the medium 500 and semi-bold 600. Now, there are many ways you can actually import fonts in your project. So not many actually, just two ways using Google Fonts. So the first option is to copy this link here and paste it inside your HTML file, or you can use this as import CSS statement. And what I want to do is I want to copy everything here aside from this style tag, and head over to my CSS file and paste Alt Z to wrap, save. So let's close this window since we don't need it. Oh boy. And for the body, Sorry, let me open the page history. So here where we have the CSS rule to specify families, let's copy everything here, and this is what we need to paste in. So this is what we need to paste in our body rule set. So let's paste that here. And again, in our readme.md file, we have these color codes, and what I want to do is to store them in a variable so that I can reference the color codes in my project using the variable name. So I don't have to always come here and check for the color codes, copy and paste. So in my style.css, let's add our root pseudo, the selector, and so for the first color, we start with a double hyphen, then the variable name. And I always like to add CLR, so which stands for color, to every variable name that has to do with colors. So for the first one is light gray. Change the gray. I spelled it very well. Okay. HSL is 0%, 0%, and 81%. Second color is light grayish blue, and I'm going to fast forward everything. So for the light grayish blue, and for the last color mode, paste, and so here is the color code, and I made a mistake here. It's root, not root. So now we have our color code set. So the next thing I want to do is to remove this spacing, this default margin and padding from every element in the page. So to do that, let's target every element in the page and set margin to 0, padding to 0, and also box sizing to border box, which I always do for all my projects. So let's preview, and now we see we have no margin and padding. So inside the body section, let's add background color of light grayish blue, and font size of 0.9 rem, and font weight of 500, which is not necessary, but it's not bad to specify. Okay, so for the page container, so I want to give it a max width of 1440 px, margin of auto to center the content, mean height of 100, viewport height, and padding of 16 px. Let's save, and now we have our color from this background color here, and we have this padding from this padding here. So next up is the grid class. So I want to change the display from block to grid, and if I preview the page now, nothing happened. So let's add grid template colon of repeats 1 fr 4 times, and equal with which is 1 fr. So let's preview, and now we see we have these columns, these 4 columns here, and since we are using repeat, it will now repeat and add another 4 columns at the bottom. So now let's style our grid chart, which is this card here. So grid chart. So let's say padding of 1.8 rem, or well, let's just use rem. Border radius of 10px, color of white. So let's save, and okay, so for now let me comment this out so we see our text here. So let's style this image here. So to do that, let's go to grid chart img, and let's set border radius to 50%, object fit contain, object position center, and border of solid 3px and color of light green. So let's save, and now we see we have these rounded images with this border color of light green. So next up is this section here, this div and this content. So what I want to do is to place them in a row. So I can do that using the CSS flexbox. So to achieve that, let's go with grid child, direct div, and display from block to flex, align item center, and gap of 10px. So now we have this. So let's style the H2 tag, which is the tag holding this. And what I want to do here is to add margin at the top and bottom of this H2 tag. So let's go with grid child H2, and margin 1 em top and bottom, then left and right 0. Let's save, and now we have this spacing between the content here. So the next one, let's style this paragraph. This paragraph here. So to do that, let's say grid child and direct P. So let's say opacity of 70%. So this will reduce the opacity by 70%. And also, you can also use decimal values like 0.7, which is equivalent to 70%. So for this one, let's just go with 70%. So the next thing we want to style is this P tag here. That's this paragraph with the text of verified graduates. So what I want to do here is to add grid child direct div, because the P tag is inside the first div and the paragraph inside, and opacity to 50%, which if I'm using a decimal value, it's 0.5. So now we have this. So what I want to do now is this first card, this first item here, I want it to span this first grid column and this second grid column. So this one with the name of Jonathan Walter will move to this third column, and this one will move to this fourth column. So to do that, since we are using the CSS grid and this grid child is inside the container with a display of grid, what we can do is for the first child, first child, which is this one here, the one with the name of Daniel Clifford. So let's add grid code. So we want to span 2. So this should push this Jonathan Walter to this section, and it will cover 2 columns. So also I want to add other stuff like background color of mode violence, and background image of URL. So this image source points to assets, and BG pattern quotation SVG. Let's preview and see what we have. So now to fix this image repeating, all we have to do is to add background repeats of no repeats, and I want to position the image background position to 80% on the X and 0 on the Y. And that's all it. And for the colors here, I want to comment this section out. Okay, so now for this section here with name of Jonathan Walter, which is the second child, what I want to do is to change the background color of this section. So let's add grid nth child and change it on to 2 for the second child, and background color of very dark grayish blue. Preview and see what we have here. So now to add gaps between these sections, these cards, since we are using the display of grid here in this grid section, so what I can do is add a gap of 2 EM. So this should solve, so this should add the gap here, and that also adds gap in this section here. So let's head back, and for the third item, which is this one with the name of Kira, so I want this one to span this third column and to this section here. So since we are not spanning from left to right but from top to bottom, we need to use the grid row instead. So grid child and child, the third one. So let's say grid row span 2, and if I save, you should notice that, okay, let me just change the background color, and background color of I think this one is white, white, and color of very dark grayish blue. So now we see we are now spanning from top to bottom, so it will cover this first row and the second row. So for the fourth child, which is this one with the name of Janet, so let's add grid child, change this to 4, and background, BGC, background color of var white, and color of var very dark grayish blue. Let's preview, and here we have it. Okay, so for this last child here, which is the fifth one with the name of Patrick Adams, so not Adams actually, let's add grid child, fifth child, which is the last child. So let's add grid col span 2, and background color of very dark blackish blue. So here, so that solves it. Now we have our desktop view ready. So let's make this page responsive. So below this this last rule set, let's add our media query, and the screen would be max width of 768 px. So first, let's target our grid class itself and change the styling from grid template columns to grid template rows. So we have to unset the grid template column. So let's hit unset, and for the grid template rows, let's say 1 FR. So let me, now I have this responsive viewer extension installed in my browser, and it makes viewing your web page on different screen sizes very, very easy. So now this is what we have so far. So let's target these sections, the ones with the span, grid column of span. So outside the .grid class, but still inside the media query, let's target the grid child. So let's target the first one, comma, and the third one, also the fifth one, yeah, fifth one. So let's grid columns and want to unset. So perfect. So now we have different layouts for different screen sizes. So this brings us to the very end of this tutorial. Thank you very much for your patience. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please leave your comments in the comment section. Thank you very much and have a nice day.